I have people from religious communities asking me questions that even as a chiloni, as a secular person, I didn't have. Our nation right now, Rabotai, is in trouble. We're running out of time, and we still don't understand that we're in trouble, because most of the money is going to things that simply do not help people do tshuva. People donate a lot of money to different huge organizations as if the organizations need it. Or they donate to just senseless causes. They donate to everything but what they're supposed to. But don't worry, we're not a unique generation. Rav Wasserman Alav Shalom wrote about this 100 years ago. 100 years ago. To be exact, 90 years ago. 90 years ago, he wrote about this in his Epic of MaShiach. He says people donate to all the senseless waste of time reasons, but they don't help people do tshuva. 90 years ago, the Gedolei Hador wrote about this. Nothing changed. We went through a Holocaust. Nothing changed. Right now, we're going through a spiritual Holocaust. Every house has an intermarriage situation. In America, you have intermarriage in almost 90% of the Jewish households, to such an extent that people think it's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I had this bankruptcy lawyer I used. Then I found out that his daughter married a goy. So I sent him a Kiruv package. He got offended. He got offended by me. I sent him a Kiruv package to show him, listen, you can do tshuva, help your daughter do tshuva. She married a goy. He got offended. What's wrong with the goy? What's wrong with Mustafa? What's wrong with him? What? He's a nice guy. Meaning that we are at a point, Rabotai, that we don't even understand that the sickness is a sickness. In the past, people that were intermarried, they left the community. They went somewhere else. They were somewhat still upset about it, embarrassed about it, but they wanted to live their life. Today, mutal. Allowed. People do it. No, what's the problem? They celebrate it. Come, we're doing our wedding at the church, or at the Reform shul, or at the conservative shul, or at the whatever Orthodox shul sometimes. Intermarriage is in every house. Homosexuality, Hashem Yirachem. Even the most religious communities in America have a problem of homosexuality. Wasting seed, it's an epidemic in practically every single yeshiva. Now, this is not to say Lashon Hara about Am Yisrael, Chas v'Shalom. I love Am Yisrael. I love Am Yisrael, I think, more than anybody else that I know. But at least, for sure, as much as everybody else. One thing I can tell you is that without these types of lectures, without serious kiruv to let people know that we are sick, the situation will continue getting worse. Now, we could talk about all the Bitachon in the world and all the emunah in the world. The truth is, though, without understanding what we're missing, none of it's going to work. So what I suggest for everyone to do is to do a little bit of cheshbon nefesh. We've had 19 lectures about Bitachon. 19 lectures. If you don't have an increase of Bitachon after 19 lectures, maybe you should find somebody else, because I'm apparently not the vessel for you. But if after 19 lectures you've improved in your bitachon by now, you've improved in your emunah by now, then do something about it. Do something about it. Over these next few weeks, we have to come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu with something in our hands. We can't just come with the same tail between our legs and say, Chatanu Avinu Pashanu. Okay, Hashem says, I know. I've been watching you all year, you Rasha. I've been watching you all year going against me. I know, I see you. Thank you. We have to come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu with some type of game plan. Some type of game plan. And what I recommend for every Jew is this. Over these next couple of weeks, figure out this game plan. How are you going to make at least 10 people do tshuva over this next 12 months? But a real legitimate game plan. If you could do more, you could do 100 people, 100 people, 200 people, 200 people, whatever. But at the very least, how are you going to take charge of your own life and get 10 people to do tshuva? What are you going to do every day? What are you going to do every month? Are you going to do something yourself? Are you going to do something to an organization? Are you going to set up lectures? Are you going to sponsor CDs? Are you going to donate a certain amount of money? Are you going to just go around the streets, give out CDs? What are you going to do? What are you going to do to get 10 people to do tshuva? Because if we have right now a bunch of people watching online, Avodat HaShem, many more people are going to watch tomorrow, and many more people are going to watch the next day. Hundreds and hundreds of people, or thousands of people are going to watch this shiur. Okay, if every one of those few thousand people that watches this shiur takes this seriously, and doesn't just waste their life, and says, okay, I have to come up with a plan of how I'm going to make 10 people do tshuva. Now, it's not easy to get people to do tshuva. It's definitely not easy, but it's not impossible. You have to do something about it. Because if you show up to Shamayim, whenever that time is, whether it's the Rosh Hashanah, or after, or whenever, and you just tell them, Chatanu, Avinu, Pashanu, I'm sorry guys, it's not going to be enough. Doing mitzvot is not enough anymore. Why? Because the only way that we can make up for our own past crimes is by other people doing mitzvot. Because when they do mitzvot, it counts for us too. So now you got one guy to keep Shabbat, that means that every Shabbat you're keeping 2 Shabbats. You got 3 people to keep Shabbat, that means that every Shabbat you're keeping 4 Shabbats. So that makes up for the past 10 years. Now instead of you having to live 10 extra years somehow through some miracle, what are you going to do? Every Shabbat you're keeping 4 Shabbats, 5 Shabbats, 10 Shabbats, 20 Shabbats. Guess what? Within a year or two you made up for 10, 15 years worth of Chilul Shabbat. Same thing goes with wasting seed. You wasted seed for 10, 15, first 25 years of your life. It's not an easy fix, but guess what? You share these lectures, you sponsor CDs, you sponsor USBs about this specific issue. Other people do tshuva. Guess what? People do tshuva. They stop wasting seed. Every single time they would have done it, they don't do it because of you. Guess what? That's one more in your account, one more in your account. That's the easiest one to get people to do tshuva. As much as people think it's the hardest, it's actually the easiest. Why? There's the most amount of criminals. And everybody knows it's a problem. It's an open problem. People are open about it. It's easy fix. Send them the lecture, they do tshuva. It's not even rocket science. All you gotta do is just send them the lecture, they do tshuva. Sponsor a lecture, sponsor USBs, sponsor CDs, do something about it. Some type of plan. Because we can't do it ourselves. There's not many that speak the truth. Needless to say in English. There's not many that are willing to sacrifice their life to get people to do it. And last but not least, there's just not enough time. There's not enough time. You see what's going on in the world. Anyone that thinks that the situation politically, economically, or financially is good is simply living a dream. Right now we are living an optical illusion. It's the silence before the storm. When the storm will erupt, I don't know. But I know that when it does, it's going to be too late. There's not going to be any more time for sharing CDs and sharing USBs and sharing lectures and donating money for Kiruv. It's too late.